Now joined by Congressman and Dr. Greg Murphy, Republican from North Carolina. My goodness, Congressman, wow. It grew so contentious, so much finger pointing, some name calling, angry politics. What say you? I know you were watching. Productive or performative?
Yeah, no, unproductive and unnecessary. And this is one of the unforced fouls sometimes that we see in government. But here's the real crux of the matter, Marky, is we saw something during the Biden administration, a pendulum in so many regards, transgender issues, the vaccine issues, pull so far to one side, and now we're swinging back. You know, Fauci lied to the American people about everybody needed to be vaccinated. They didn't need to be vaccinated. The CDC lied about having, in my opinion, about child mortality. They had to go back and basically recant some of what they did. But when you have a monolithic approach to vaccines, which have saved millions of lives, you end up pulling about and causing a pendulum to swing the other way. And so RFK actually mentioned yesterday, I think there were some, an inordinate number of vaccines given to kids before 16. I looked them up, and I actually was surprised in and of themselves. We have to have, and it's okay for us to have a healthy disruption in the medical apparatus. You look back now on what's happened over the last 5 years, the studies that have been retracted, the lies that have been told to the American people. We need to reset this. And if we're ever going to have trust by the American patient back in the healthcare system, I think this needs to happen.
And let me ask you, too, because you had criticisms from both sides of the aisle. You have some Republicans calling for him, to step down. Does RFK Jr. still have your support, sir?
Well, I think he does in the fact that he is pushing for a healthy disruption. There are some points that I'm going to disagree with him on. And so, I'm a scientist. He's not a scientist. I think he's deeply invested in the health and welfare of this country. He talks a lot about chronic diseases. I don't really think these vaccines lead to chronic disease. We're talking obesity, hypertension, stroke, these type of things. But do they have problems later in life? I absolutely do think so. I wish it would not be such a combative issue. But that's what personalities lead to sometimes. I'm glad for the healthy disruption. I hate some of the collateral side effects.
Yeah. What do you think he's done wrong so far?
Well, I think some of the things that have happened with the rhetoric about vaccines has been hurtful. I think they are good things for people, for target populations. During COVID itself, everybody didn't need to be vaccinated. You look at the males 18 to 35. They actually had a 3-time, and I scrubbed this data myself, a 3 times higher chance of myocarditis with a vaccine than without a vaccine. But when you take a pendulum and it's been pulled so far one way and you swing it all the way the other way, I don't think it is constructive to the argument of getting to the truth. And so, it's sometimes personalities. But I hope that this time, which is tumultuous, will actually lead us to a time where we actually have faith back in American medicine.
And as you know, there are now more than 1,000 HHS workers who have signed on to this letter. They're calling for President Trump to fire RFK Jr. for endangering what they say is endangering the nation's health. Trump is standing by his guy. I don't think he thinks that RFK Jr. is endangering the country. But do you think he's becoming too much of a distraction for the White House?
Yeah, and this is Trump is not afraid, as we well know, to get rid of people. I think that story remains to be written. If this continues in this type of manner, I think that, RFK is at risk for that. But who knows what Trump's going to do with this? Let's let the story play out a little bit longer. There were some problems with the CDC director doing things, on her own and being a little bit more to the left than I think RFK wanted. But I think the story still is going to be written about what his future means.
We'll see and wait to see what comes next. Congressman Greg Murphy, thank you as always. Have a great weekend, sir.
Bye-bye.